Good morning for those of you who are not with us today. Today is Unit 2, Lesson 5. We are just a couple of days away from beginning our rhetorical analysis essay. So we've spent the first few days learning how to think rhetorically and what that all means. And then from now on, we're going to learn how to write rhetorically to get you ready for that task. So you'll notice from our agenda today, we're going to spend the majority of the time talking about how to write a rhetorical analysis essay. But we're going to start with academic notes again. One more shot of learning how to identify rhetorical situation. So in your academic notes, make sure that you list the speaker, audience, message, and strategies in your, actually all of the questions, there are 4 questions there. I want you to answer each of them in detail with a Disney song. And the link here will take you to a collection of Disney songs. I think I've also included them in your packet. Pick one. I would pick one that you're familiar with so that you can spend more time delving into like who the speaker is of the song and what do you know about them and what does the song reveal. So it will just allow you to elaborate a lot more if you pick a Disney song or a Disney character that you are familiar with. Once you've done that, get ready to learn how to write a rhetorical analysis. Remember, I've used the phrase, it's just academic BS, but there's a strategy to it. And for those of you who like step-by-step strategies, you'll like this type of a writing style. So I started here with an actual paragraph that is written in a rhetorical style. I used your homework assignment, the second inauguration of Abraham Lincoln, to do so. And if you're not with us, I want you to pause the video for a minute and actually read this introductory paragraph. Once you've done that, I want you to notice a couple of things. First of all, what the content is. In an introductory paragraph, you'll notice that you need to give background information to the topic. I kept that in black font color. And then you need to give some context information. So information that will reacquaint your reader with what's going on behind the scenes at that time. And so I wrote a little bit about that and used purple to show you how or what I mean by writing context. And then the third thing is a formal thesis sentence. So for this one, this type of writing, you need a detailed thesis that's strategically placed at the end of your introduction. And the thesis taps in again to rhetorical situations. So if you look at the red part, you'll be able to see who the speaker is, who's the intended audience, what the purpose is, and how the Lincoln in this case went about making his speech successful. And so it's clearly identified with color. The second thing I want you to notice with this introductory paragraph is the style of writing that's involved, the voice that's used. What characteristics do I put on as I write this type of paper? So I listed them here. You'll notice it sounds very academic, where every word matters. And it's in a third person point of view, so I'm not going to use the word I or you anywhere in this type of writing. You'll notice that every sentence has a strong academic verb, like we talked about with summary writing, and the words are clear, concise, and purposeful. So carefully craft words rather than just saying things in conversational tone. So that is some characteristics of this writing style. So to illustrate it, I want to show you how to go about writing a rhetorical analysis for an essay. So I'm going to model it for you. I picked an essay that I disagreed with. I'm not saying that you have to at all, but I just wanted to challenge myself to do something a little bit differently. So I picked an essay that appeared in Sports Illustrated quite some time ago. If you are a basketball or a BYU fan, you're probably familiar or have heard the name of Jimmer Fredette. When he was a senior at BYU, he kind of became a national phenomenon. It's like the stars aligned for Jimmer. Everything, went up in the air, went through the hoop, and he made these ridiculous shots. And so the nation just kind of fell in love with Jimmer mania. Anyway, at this time, Rick Riley worked for Sports Illustrated, and towards the end of the season, a couple of players got hurt. One player was dismissed from the team. And anyway, so they didn't reach the Final Four, which was what a lot of people anticipated they would do. So when the NCAA tournament came around, I think they got to the second round and then lost their game. So this is right after the Jimmer and BYU Cougars lost their game in the NCAA tournament that Rick Riley writes this article. And if you look on in your packet, I think I included the article for you, so you can kind of see what I'm doing here on the slides and then have the essay in front of you. If you don't have your packet with you for whatever reason, I included a link to the resource of Jimmer Grows Dimmer. So the first thing I did to write this essay, I wanted to think about a rhetorical situation again and decide whether or not I wanted to invest my time in it. And because, again, I bugged me what he was saying, I thought, yeah, it's worth my time. So I listed over here some of the things that I thought about what I wanted to do with this essay. So make sure you pause the video and look at some of my internal thoughts in bullets. The next thing I did is I thought specifically, like we've been doing for a few days, about the rhetorical situation. Like, what do I know about Rick Riley? I actually really like him as a writer. He's a fabulous writer. I researched a little bit about his experience, what his official title was at the time, and I included some information about context here. So I just kind of made a list of things that would fit under rhetorical situation, the same thing that you did today when you made some list of a Disney song. So this is my bullet list that I put together. And then I went about crafting a thesis sentence. And so with this type of an essay, it's for those of you who like recipes, kind of like we had recipes for summary paragraphs, you can follow a recipe to make sure that you have all the parts for your thesis sentence. So I included that, and I'm just going to highlight it right here, right? That section right there is a recipe for what to include in a thesis sentence. So I plugged my words into that recipe. So I said, Rick Riley's use of condescending tone, out of context information, and logical fallacies ineffectively convinced college basketball fans that Jimmer is an overrated player. So I am putting my spin on it. But of course, I told what Riley did to make the essay, in this case, not work. Remember, you can do something that what doesn't work or what does work. And then once I did that, sorry, I'm just jumping around for a second. I thought I had an introductory paragraph here. And I've lost it. I will add this to the slide when I go back and get it ready for sharing with the class. Anyway, so once I get my introduction put together, then I'm going to build a body paragraph. And here I take one of my elements of my thesis, what I first talked in my thesis about, a condescending tone. And I make sure that I annotate my article and find all the evidence that will support my analysis that Riley thought that his tone backfired in the essay. So here is an example of the paragraph that I wrote. You'll notice that for those of you who are familiar with body paragraphs and analysis, like if you've taken AP, there's some important things to remember. You want to have a topic sentence. You want to go find evidence and then comment on it, and then find another piece of evidence and then comment on it. I didn't take time to color coordinate that, but you could actually go back to the sentences in this paragraph and do that. I've also included in your resources today a handout I don't think I put in your packet, that will walk you through in specific detail introductory paragraphs, body paragraphs, and concluding paragraphs. So of course, when you write an essay, you're going to have more than one body paragraph. So I just took one as practice for you today. And then finally, you need to wrap up a analysis essay. So I don't have time because of a short video, but please pause the video and look at what you need to do in a concluding paragraph. Look at the handout in the resource packet. And then I added 4 bullets here of thoughts that I went through of what I wanted to accomplish in a concluding paragraph. So that's the idea about writing different paragraphs for a rhetorical analysis essay. You're going to practice it. And so because it's the 20th anniversary of 9/11, I put a bunch of essays in your packet relating to 9/11, and they cover a lot of time span about that event, told from different time periods of 9/11. So you're going to pick one. In order to become familiar with it, you have got to analyze it extensively. So part of your homework assignment says to annotate an article. That means you get out your pen, you get out not just your highlighter, but you are taking mental notes in the margins of one of the essays that you select that you're going to practice between now and Monday when I see you again, writing an introductory paragraph and a body paragraph. So you'll notice that your assignment is 3 steps. Pick an essay, read and annotate the article, write 2 paragraphs, modeling what I've done with what you need to do. And that is our lesson today. So good luck.